Hi, welcome to the A Little R&R podcast channel. And this is my very first podcast, y'all. I am so excited. I have been wanting to do this for a long time. I just needed to kind of get my ducks in a row and figure out where I wanted to go with a podcast and what I wanted to talk about. And I think I'm there. So today we are going to talk about the ketogenic diet. And not just the ketogenic diet in general. There are a lot of ketogenic podcasts out there, and I do not want to join that crowd. I feel like don't fix what's not broken. I listen to some of those, and they are super informative, very scientific. I'm not going to get into all of that. I'm going to talk about my own journey and just offer encouragement to people that are either considering that for themselves or are on a ketogenic journey. And so that's kind of where our approach is going to be today. So grab a cup of coffee, come sit at the kitchen table, and let's talk. Okay, so for those of you who are not completely familiar with the ketogenic diet, a ketogenic diet is basically a way of eating, and I sort of like to talk about things in that terminology because diet in our in our understanding of the word diet today is we sort of think of it as a short-term thing, lose weight, really quick with this diet, and then once we've reached our goal weight, then we go back to what we were eating before. I don't feel like that's a good weight loss plan for anybody because if you've lost weight with a certain way of eating, if you're going to maintain it, you sort of have to stick with that, in some form or another. And so for me, eating ketogenically is, it's a way of life. And partly because I have discovered that certain types of foods really do not do well for me. And I realized that after having eliminated them for a while, and I started to feel much better when I didn't eat them. And so for me, it's really a lifestyle. It's not a short-term diet plan. So it's something definitely that's going to be, I'm going to be sticking to it for the rest of my life. But eating ketogenically is basically eating in a way that helps your body to produce ketones, which are a byproduct of your body burning fat for energy and not sugar and not carbs. So, basically you're doing a low carb diet, but you're doing it low enough that your body is not burning. It's not using sugar for fuel. It's using fat for fuel, and so. And I like to keep it short and simple like that. That's my whole, if I could have a motto for my life, it would be just, keep it simple, because everything for me is about simplicity. I like to live simplistic. And so, I don't really get into all of these grams and these foods are out and these foods are in. And, obviously if a food is going to send you, careening off the cliff with carbs, that food is out. But anything that's going to keep your body in that state of ketosis, that is a ketogenic diet, however you do it. I personally like to do more of a clean diet. So, I have the advantage also of not having ketogenic foods where I live. And so I'm not tempted to get packaged ketogenic foods. But even if I did have those available, I still would be sticking to more of a clean eating diet because I feel like that is what's most healthy for us. One ingredient foods, right? Foods that don't have a list of ingredients and a bunch of chemicals in them. That's sort of my definition of eating ketogenically. And so if you have been on this diet and you're sort of on again, off again, sometimes more off again than on again, I want to talk to you today because that's sort of where I'm at right now with my journey. I've been off the ketogenic diet over the summer because, visiting family and vacation and all of that. And that's, very typical for most people. And I really wasn't in a place where I was in control of my meals. And I went into that, I knew this going into that. And so I knew coming to the end of the summer, I would have gained weight. I wouldn't be feeling, optimal. But I also knew that, once I was in control of my meals, that I would be right back on. Now, I want to do a podcast later on at some point talking about why that's so significant for me. But today I just really want to focus on how do you get back on once you've sort of gone off the wagon. And so the first thing that I did was I sat down and I made a plan. I always have to have a plan. I don't know about you, but a plan really helps to get my brain engaged. And I feel like making a decision to limit your diet as much as the ketogenic diet is limiting, you really have to get your brain engaged. A lot of that decision takes place up here. It really does. And wrapping your mind around the fact that I'm kicking out all the sugar, I'm kicking out all the flour and the pasta and, all of that, foods that, we call comfort foods, tossing all of that out and really limiting my diet in this way takes, there's a lot of brain engagement involved. And so I sat down and I made a plan. So what are my breakfasts going to look like? What are my dinners going to look like? I typically only eat 2 times a day. So, what are these 2 meals going to look like? And then I went and I found a bunch of recipes. I found a bunch of fun recipes. And not only just great fun recipes, but recipes that I felt like my family would eat. And so I found those, and as I was finding those on my phone, and I used my notes app on my phone, and I saved the links in the app. And so what I do is I sit down every week, and when I make up my grocery list, I sit down, I find the ones, the different recipes that I want to make for that week. And I open up the link, and I keep the link open in my browser on my phone. So I have the recipe right there, wrote down the ingredients, went to the store, and got everything. So that was the second thing I did. So I made a plan, got recipes. I got fun ones, ones that would make me really excited about getting in the kitchen and whipping up something new. The third thing that I did was I made sure that I had quick foods on hand for a quick dinner. My family, I'm the only real ketogenic person in my family. Even though they will gladly eat some of those meals with me, they're not fully ketogenic. And so sometimes I make things for them that are not keto friendly. And so I have cans of tuna fish in the pantry. I have taco meat already made up and portioned in the freezer. I have salad fixings on hand, eggs, bacon, the keto staples that are quick to grab, quick to make. They are always on hand in my house, in my freezer, my pantry, so that I can whip up a quick meal for myself when they are not eating ketogenically. And then the fourth thing that I said, I sat down with my husband and I explained to him why this is important to me, because he loves to sit down and have, chocolate with his coffee. And, he really, one of his ways of showing our family love is going to the grocery store, getting everyone a dessert, coming home. And, he's the fun dad, always bringing home something sweet for the kids. And he likes to extend that to me as well. And so I sat down and I had a very serious conversation with him and explained to him why this is important to me. And it's not just about weight loss for me. It's about feeling good. Actually, having that energy and not having all of this internal irritation going on because of inflammation and having different, skin eruptions and my headaches coming back and all of that. And so he understood, and he's on board with me. He may not be on board with eating the way that I eat, but he's on board with helping me accomplish that goal. And so those are the 4 things that I did. And I would also encourage you, in the description below, I have links to a couple of groups that I run on social media. These are alternative social media sites, and I am going to be doing a podcast in the near future on why I chose to abandon the big social media sites and opt for different, more obscure ones, because there is a very huge reason behind why I chose to do that. And so if you want to join those sites and join my groups, I invite you to do that. That is where I help to keep myself accountable, and I invite other people to join me on different challenges and things like that. And so right now I'm in a phase of getting back into ketosis, getting back to a place where I can begin intermittent fasting again. And I am looking forward to talking with you more about my journey. I will probably be popping in on this channel doing non-podcast videos, just really quick videos of how did I do this week with my with eating ketogenically, how much weight am I losing, or inches that I'm losing, how I'm feeling, and things like that, because I feel like that is a great way to keep yourself accountable. Putting yourself out there. I am not a person that typically shies away from that. I'm not really embarrassed about sharing my numbers, and talking all the way through that. So I don't mind being that person to put myself out there. If that helps to encourage you and keep you motivated, I'm here for that. I really am. So that wraps up our first podcast. I'm so excited, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to drop a comment in the comment box below. Click, like, subscribe, click the bell so that you get notified whenever there's a new video popping up. If you prefer to actually listen to the podcast version of this show, there are links in the comments below, as well as a link to my blog where I have some keto recipes. There are more to come, and other blogs about the ketogenic diet and some of my struggles through it, my successes through it, and all of that. So I invite you to just check out those links, and I will see you next time.